I've been making YouTube videos for over 8 months now for my health tech and wellness podcast. And just about 6 months ago, I figured out one of my biggest reasons that they weren't growing. I looked like I was talking to somebody off camera instead of talking to you. So I spent just over $280 on the Elgato Teleprompter to fix that. The question is, does expensive gear actually fix amateur mistakes, or is it just expensive regret? But first, let's go back to when I first got this teleprompter and revisit my original unboxing and first impressions that I posted over on my wellness channel before I realized one of my other biggest mistakes. Creator tech reviews don't belong with my health tech reviews. They belong over here on this new second channel with my other creator tools. So stick around, because at the end of this, I'm going to give you my honest thoughts and long-term review after 6 months of daily use, including exactly why I almost returned this thing twice. So let's get into it. All right, today we're unboxing what might be the ultimate content creation setup, Elgato Prompter paired with Riverside FM. Could this be the match made in heaven? So if anybody doesn't know about the Elgato Prompter, the difference between this prompter and every other teleprompter out there is the screen is built right in. You don't have to get an iPad. You don't have your phone not being able to be used. So let's see what we've got in here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit the box down. I'll bring it back up. We'll go one step at a time. So first box. On the top, what do we got here? It says get connected. Inside of the box is the guide here, and I'm going to do my best to not read this until I go to actually hook up the computer to the prompter, as it does have to go directly in. It's just like a second screen. So I've heard there's a few hiccups with Apple products in hooking it up and doing it the right order. So I won't be on when we go to that part, but in the meantime, let's just throw that to the side there because I'm not worried about it at this moment. Okay, these are the step-up rings. So I've heard about these, and then I did a little homework ahead of time because I'm using the Sony ZV-1F, which can use a lens, but unfortunately it's a 40.5 millimeter lens, and none of these, and they give you a ton of them, none of these fit the 40.5 lens. What I did, I bought ahead of time an adapter to go from 40.5 millimeters to 52 millimeters. Okay, next is the USB cable. Everywhere that I've read, they say you must use this cable or the whole thing won't work. We're gonna find that out. So let's put that there to the side. Okay, and last box inside of the top box. This is your universal shroud and your DSLR mirrorless back plate. So this is the back plate that I'm going to be using, because this will be on the lens and the camera will hold the teleprompter. That's at least the goal. We'll find that out. To be continued on both of those. Okay, set that up there. This is the back shroud. I might set up the camera. I've only got 2 cameras, so this is my first unboxing. But basically, instead of the back plate, shroud would slide on. And the reason why you need this shroud is if you're using a webcam, if you're using the Elgato face cam, if you're using your iPhone, the back, you'll see the back of the prompter has this huge opening, and all your light's going to come through, which is going to stop the reflection. But when you're doing this hookup, the camera goes right here, this goes to the back, and there's no light coming through. So this is where we're at right here. Okay, next, let's bring the box back up. Okay, here's the first piece. This is also if you were going to use the universal back shroud. And on here, you've got mount camera here. So this is the top, and the teleprompter would be here. This screw can be removed and put in any of these spots. So if you're using an iPhone, you want the lens to be in the middle. If you're using the face cam, if you're using regular webcams, or any camera that doesn't, that's not a DSLR, that has a screw-on lens. Looks like one last thing left in the box. You don't want to touch the screen and finger it all up. You don't want to touch the glass. So I'm going to try to do this as neatly as possible. This is the Elgato Teleprompter. I'm just saying, I looked at a lot of teleprompters before I did this. And the reason why, when I'm doing my actual podcast, not product reviews or unboxings, I'm looking at my notes here because I did all my homework and I want to make sure that I'm informing my listeners appropriately. So when I'm talking, I'm doing this. because I can look at my note and then riff and look over here, but that's kind of awkward going back and forth. With the Elgato Teleprompter, now I will look directly into this glass, which will reflect the monitor that's already here, which is going to put whatever I put on it from the screen. I can use a teleprompter app through Elgato. Now on the back here, already pre-installed, is the face cam back adapter. So let's sit this down here and we'll take off the thumb screws. Where the hiccup everybody talks about on this teleprompter, but they say it's when installing this to the Mac for the first time. So guys, as of right now, I'm going to shut everything down because I'm going to have to probably restart the Mac according to everything they're telling me. But that is the unboxing. Pretty simple. I'll be back here shortly, but when I come back, I should have some script that I can read off of and some notes so we can go a little further and hopefully have this up. And I'll let you guys know exactly how hard this was to get set on a Mac Mini M4 base model. All right, now that everything's unboxed and set up, let's talk about what I wasn't expecting, the weight distribution. On paper, this thing's only 1.5 pounds, which sounds super manageable. But in the real world setup, the weight is front loaded. And on my small desk, it caused some major stability issues. With my original tripod being so small with my small desk, as soon as I mounted the teleprompter, I noticed the small tripod just could not handle it. The moment I let go, bam, it tipped forward. So if you're working with a compact setup like mine, keep that in mind. Luckily, I had a quick fix. I ran to my local Best Buy and I picked up a second identical tripod. I screwed it into the front of the teleprompter where it has another holder, and I'm good to go. So it let me stabilize the entire setup and also attach my teleprompter directly to my DSLR using the step-up rings just like I wanted to, instead of using the universal shroud. So if you're planning to use this like this or with a lightweight tripod, you might want to either upgrade your mount or do something like this just to keep it stable. But at the end of the day, that's all it took. All problems solved. Now, there was one thing that I was kind of nervous about with the initial setup, and it was hooking up to my Mac Mini. Everybody says in all the reviews, they said the Elgato Teleprompter was a hassle to set up on Mac OS, especially because they recommend connecting straight to a USB port of the Mac and not a hub or a dongle. Here's the problem. The Mac Mini M4 only comes with USB-Cs, so I have to use a dongle at minimum to connect anything with a USB-A. And honestly, there was no issues whatsoever. I plugged it into the Mac, it recognized it immediately, and I was good to go. So if you've seen these warnings, don't stress. Once you download and install the Elgato Camera Hub, it's plug and play. Just know that it recommends you to connect to your PC or your Mac before downloading and installing the software. And when you see that the screen's going to come on, it's going to say Elgato and then it's going to go blank immediately. Now, I'd already read that, so I was already aware. But I'll just say this. As long as you understand that, once you install the software, it's going to come right back on, then there's no issue. That's exactly why watching videos like these is a game changer. Make sure to always do your homework, and I'm so glad that I did, or that would have freaked me out because of all the other warnings. With the Elgato Prompter, everything's right there in front of me. Whether you're podcasting, live streaming, or recording content, this just makes you feel more connected to your audience. Now that I've used this for just a little bit, let's break it down. First things first. Did you notice that I was reading from a teleprompter? Probably, because I'm getting used to it, and I'm actually trying to read it word for word. So here's the pros that I've found so far. The display is crystal clear. The text is super sharp and easy to read. Even though it's a lower resolution, the screen is just immaculate. I'm reading everything perfect, and I've got it coming right off of Riverside's teleprompter, which is a little smaller, I think, than what the teleprompter would be, but I don't plan on using that for my long-term review. I'll go in and play with it, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it. But right now, using Riverside, so far, it's seamless. And it's also a seamless Mac setup, despite all the online concerns. I had zero issues. It's completely perfect for Riverside FM, just like I just said. I'm making eye contact, and it keeps everything on the screen. The only cons that I've found so far is what I said, the front-loaded weight. It can be tricky, so you just got to work on either 2 tripods or a different setup, or you're going to have to use the universal mount. I say go this way, that way you don't have to worry about any overheating. Everything looks good, and it's nice and dark. There's no light bleeding from the back end. And then Sony ZVF1 users, or really any camera that doesn't have a lens setup ring that's included, you're gonna need a step-up ring. I'm not a camera guy, so I'm not sure what other sizes are not included, but for sure, Elgato does not include a 40.5 millimeter step-up ring. So overall though, this thing's amazing. I've only been using it now for a couple hours when I was setting it up and doing the unboxing, but I think this is going to really step up the game, and it's going to make my workflow just so much easier, and hopefully not have to do so many cuts when I stumble over words, because when I was looking over here and then I would bullet point everything so I could riff, I would lose things, and that's why I kept trying to look at the screen always. But now I can look right at you guys and I can keep you engaged, and at the end of the day, this thing's just going to bring it all together. But of course, this is just my first impression, and I'm a little excited because I get to look at you guys as I'm talking. And I plan on using the Elgato Teleprompter extensively over the next few months. And I'll be doing a long-term review to see if it really holds up in a constant, consistent podcasting and content creation workflow. So stay tuned for that. So that was my very first impression back in February. But here's the thing about first impressions. They never tell you the whole story. After about 6 months of daily use, I promised you the brutal truth about why I almost returned this $280 teleprompter twice. So let's break it down. That weight distribution disaster that you saw in my first setup, it got way worse before it ever got any better. I also needed my mic over here on this side for better audio quality. And once the mic arm joined the party, the whole rig felt like it was one bump away from tipping over. My dual tripod hack technically worked if I didn't bump it at all, but it looked amateur, it ate up desk space, and gave me zero flexibility for movement of the mic arm or anything. And honestly, I was ready to pack it up. And that brightness issue that I highlighted with that big red circle at the beginning, it nearly killed me. My first test footage looked like I was under interrogation lights. It was washed out, silhouetted, and a complete nightmare. I thought the unit was defective. I almost boxed it up and sent it back without even hitting upload on that initial video. But here's what changed everything. After some testing, I found the hidden fix. There's a brightness setting in the software. I cranked it down to right around 30%, and suddenly you get crystal clear recordings with no silhouetting. Then I ditched the dual tripod setup completely. I grabbed a webcam mounting system that clamps directly to the small desk setup that I have. This allows the teleprompter to slide on properly and hang off of the setup ring on my Sony camera. And guess what? It's a game changer. It gives me complete flexibility. I can move the camera as needed, slide it around, no issues whatsoever, no worry about things falling over, everything's stable, and no more wobbly tiny tripods, no more desk clutter, just a rock solid professional look that's also easy to move around if needed. And remember what I said in that unboxing? This isn't just a teleprompter. It's a second monitor that you look straight through into the lens. After about 6 months, that's not hype. That's the true game changer. Now, with all that being said, I knew that was why I needed a teleprompter in the first place, but I wasn't expecting how dramatic of a change that it really would make. The eye contact transition, it's real. People noticed almost immediately, telling me that I looked more confident and more connected. That awkward glance back and forth disappeared. And Riverside Studio, being able to move the entire studio or just pop out my video or my guest video, it's a complete game changer. It takes it even further. And when I interview guests, coach clients, or even appear on other podcasts, I'm looking them right in the eye while still keeping great eye contact with you. And that voice scrolling feature, once you get the rhythm down, it's incredible. Right now, I'm using a full script, so you can see exactly how smoothly it scrolls when I'm reading word for word. But let's talk bullet points. This is where it really shines. I load bullet points by typing one opening line for each. And as soon as I read that line, the prompter scrolls to the next, then pauses until I hit the next one. This is magic, and it doesn't keep scrolling ahead and leave you behind. It's like having a line assistant move my notes at the perfect pace. It's a total game changer. So let me riff a little bit more and just tell you why I love this thing. It's just going to sit there until I start to say that next word. You can see what it is, so I'm going to go ahead and say it and watch how this works. Even better, the software overlays slightly transparent notes right over the Riverside Studio, so I can see my notes and my guest at the exact same time. time. It's basically a heads-up display for creators. So after 6 months of use, are you ready for the cons list? Are you sure? Here it is. It collects dust. That's it. The screen lays flat, so it gets dusty. I just wipe it down once a week with the included cloth that they give you, and that's it. Pretty simple. And the pros? On top of everything else that I've already said, this thing's built to last. 6 months of daily use, no screen issues, no performance drops, just rock solid. The versatility is insane. Podcasts, interviews, solo content, live streams, one-on-one coaching, webinars. It adapts to everything that you need. But the biggest surprise, it's not just about looking professional. It's about feeling professional. And when your posture improves, your confidence skyrockets. When you know you're delivering your lines with eye contact, you feel different on camera. A fellow podcast friend of mine, he picked up one after seeing my initial unboxing on the other channel way back when I uploaded it. And this was literally his first reaction. I noticed how much better my posture feels already. I feel much more confident and professional now. And he absolutely loves it. So after spending $280 and dealing with frustrations, almost returning it twice and using it every single day for the last 6 months, here's my brutal truth. This is one piece of gear that if it broke tomorrow, I'd buy it again immediately. Period. The end. Because it's not just a teleprompter. It's a second monitor, a confidence booster, and a professional upgrade all in one. For creators serious about stepping up their game, it's worth every single penny. For creators just starting out, fix your audio first, and then add this to your upgrade list. And if you're tired of looking like you're looking off camera instead of directly at your audience, this fixes it permanently. Now, I don't have an affiliate link, and I'm not sponsored by Elgato, but just trust me with this. If you want to stop looking like an amateur, the Elgato Teleprompter is the real deal. And here's what I'd tell my past self if I had the chance. Yes, there's a learning curve. Yes, setup is going to be frustrating. Murphy's Law. It's real. You'll probably have hiccups no matter how much research that you think that you did. But once you push through all that, this is going to become as essential as your microphone. So let me ask you this. What's your biggest struggle with looking professional on camera? Drop it in the comments because I've been there and I'll help you if I can. And if you want more honest long-term gear reviews, not just unboxing hype, hit that subscribe button because I'm stress testing everything, spending my own money and giving you the real story behind what actually works for real creators once that excitement wears off. And if you're curious why a wellness podcaster started a tech review and creator growth channel, check out this video right here where that's going to explain it all. And let me end this video just like I do every video over on my wellness channel. As always, stay healthy, stay balanced, and keep driving forward. I'll see you next time.